Hello everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of Analyzing Good, featuring Llyod Owen from the Young Indy Chronicles. Now, like Matt Doran, this was a super specific actor that only enthusiasts would really know about. He played Henry Jones Sr. in Young Indy, basically playing a younger version of Sean Connery. As I stated before, I had a custom Funko Pop made of this version of Henry Jones Sr., and I very much intended him to sign it. I got what I wanted, and moreover, I got to have a conversation with him. Now, when I went to the Supanova convention, I met up with one of my subscribers. We had planned to meet up in advance since he lived in the same region I did, so we both mutually met Llyod Owen. First things first, he's nice. Now, this could just be because it was a Sunday, but there wasn't anyone there lined up on his autograph booth. Keep in mind, Llyod Owen's most prominent role was on the Rings of Power, which I think most of everyone hated. So it's kind of unfortunate that Llyod Owen wasn't that popular, but regardless, as an Indiana Jones nerd, I spoke to him about all sorts of stuff regarding the Indiana Jones franchise. He shared his experience working with George Lucas on the television series, such as when he improvised a line in the Africa episode, and the way he described it was kind of funny. He said he suggested the improv to George Lucas before directly shooting the scene, and Georgie boy had this face like he didn't like the idea, according to Owen, but he was sold on the idea eventually. He also spoke about how much responsibility it was picking up from Sean Connery, and I even asked him if he ever had the chance to meet Sean Connery, but unfortunately, he told me he never got the chance. I also spoke to him a bit about my personal life, i.e. my siblings. He remarked how I had a very Scottish name when I introduced myself, and so I told him that my dad was Scottish, and so he obviously named me and my brothers after the Scottish. Now, if you've watched my channel and you know my stance on Indiana Jones, it may surprise you to learn that Llyod Owen's opinion on the movies is very much in line with my own. I told him how me and my brothers saw Diarrhea of Destiny the day it came out in theaters, and we all fucking hated it. Turns out that he wasn't much of a fan of that movie either. And something I really appreciated was how he was a fan of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, although he told me that Raiders has always been his favorite. Ha! So it's not just nerds like me who say Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is good. The guy who worked with George Lucas on his television show and played a younger version of an iconic character liked it too. In general, he very much embraced his role as the younger Henry Jones, which I appreciate. He mentioned how there were a bunch of fans the day before who were all Young Indy enthusiasts. So yeah, aside from that, we mostly just had a good time talking about Indiana Jones. The Travels with Father episode, especially the half set in Athens, Greece, is a personal favorite of his, and he was more than happy to write one of his lines from that episode. What he said after explaining what philosophy is.
We are thinkers, and we must treasure our ability to think.
Yeah, so in general, it was nice to meet him. Now I'm starting to think that these lesser known actors are bound to be better people because they don't have the resume that Tom Cruise has. I mean, aside from Young Indy and Rings of Power, he hasn't been in a whole lot more. He was in the video game Horizon Zero Dawn, so I guess that's something. And there's also his role in the found footage horror film Apollo 18, which I was interested in because I used to have a fascination with found footage horror films. I guess it's fair to say that Llyod Owen had a very niche, but notable career as an actor. I came to him for Indiana Jones, and he was happy to indulge in that role, and answer questions about the series, as well as give out a bunch of trivia, such as how he was only slightly younger than Sean Patrick Flannery, which I thought was interesting, because a similar connection could be made to Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, and how those two were similar in age. Llyod Owen seemed to have a good relationship with his co-stars in general, as he also said that he made friends with Margaret Tyzak, who played Miss Seymour, and spoke about how they both had a mutual friendship after the show was done, until her death in 2011. He also accepted the gift I gave him, which was a smaller print of the custom Funko Pop. You know, in general, I was really nervous after the whole Anthony Daniels fiasco, but I'm glad to say that so far, that was just a fluke. I suppose Anthony Daniels wasn't being so horrible by rudely cutting me off, but I do think he really is up his own ass for playing a golden robot and nothing else. even if that golden robot is an iconic movie character. So yeah, I was happy to meet Llyod Owen. I don't care for Rings of Power because I heard it's awful, but in general, the actors I met at this year's Supanova were cool. I also met Mike Quinn, who played Nyan Num, as well as puppeteering for other characters in Star Wars, and I also spoke briefly to Matt Doran again. And when I mentioned we met up in Brisbane last year, he very much recalled me. So yeah, I'll keep going to these conventions, and hope that I don't get an underachieving jackass who thinks he's Tom Cruise. Because at least it's understandable how Tom Cruise specifically grew to get such an overinflated ego. That's my short, but meaningful experience with Llyod Owen. I wasn't sure what to think, because I started to think that British actors were full of themselves, almost to a stereotypical degree. But I can say that there is hope for the United Kingdom yet. Anyways, that's my historic meeting with Llyod Owen. I can say personally to any Young Indy fans, go meet him, you probably won't be spat on. I'm JJ Plagiarisms, and until next time, what are stories but mystery boxes?
Under the mountain, a golden fountain. Were you praying at the Larish shrine?